Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am Army Piper. We got a great show lined up today. We got economic data that came in this morning saying, hey, recession might not be as big or might not even happen at all. We're going to be looking at that data, but there also might be a little bit of a manipulation on some of those numbers from the government. Shocker. We're going to get into all of that and more, guys. Stick around. This is it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. This is the show where we bring you guys economic data, the charts, the market open, everything that you need to know what's going on for the day so that you, too, can have the knowledge to make profit, because knowledge is profit here at the Piper Academy. Guys, let's go ahead and jump over. I got special guest on today. TradeFly is out, filling in for TradeFly today, guys. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's FD White. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh, I can't complain, man. Happy to be here, man. I'm usually up early anyway, so this is nothing to me. So I'm happy to be here. OC, how you doing, brother?
Hey, FD White, I'm doing fantastic. Great to have you here. Pretty excited to get you in here. By the way, I sent you a friend request and also DM you, and also make sure that you got all of the plus things set up. So in case you haven't watched it, there you go. That's a little surprise that I got for you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, he fanboyed you is what I just heard. I fanboyed you and sent you friend requests on everything. But no, guys, we got a fantastic show lined up today. Excellent panel here today on the Morning Market Report. OC guy and FD White, and FD, I see you got your Detroit cap over there ready to go. Always ready there. So yeah, right there. No, other side. There you go, right there. Yeah, you got your own little logo there. We have made it permanent here on the Academy show. And for the people that are viewing right now, if you guys don't know, we will be having FD White on more for some of these morning shows too. So you are going to start seeing his face a lot more here on the Academy channel at the Crypto Nightcap, and then of course in the morning for the Market Report. So we're going to round out his day with morning news and afternoon news, and he's just going to be filling you guys in on his channel right there in between. So it's going to be awesome. It's a great lineup. So let's go ahead and get into the news and the data, because we had a lot of economic data that came out this morning. Did some weird things to the Dixie, did some weird things to the markets. But I have a feeling those numbers are a little bit manipulated. That's just my opinion, FT White. We'll take a look at them, and then we'll have a discussion after this. OC's like manipulated numbers by your government. First time, I'm in Mexico. So, all right, let's get into the news, guys. Let's jump over there. We'll be right back. Welcome here to the news, guys. Brought to you by Decrypted.tax, your trusted tax official. He's an attorney. He's an accountant, and he knows all about crypto. Give him a call. You can use the link down below. You'll get a free consultation, 25% off your services if you use them. Even if you don't, the consultation is still free. You don't know what you don't know until you talk to Ernest, guys. Let's jump into the news, and let's take a look at what we're seeing over here. First off, no, that is the wrong button. There we go. First off, let's jump into the fear and greed, guys. Sitting at 29 right now on fear. I told you, I'm fine with staying here for a while we get some consolidation and some strength and volume back in the markets. Looking at the crypto bubbles, they were just up there. You guys see that? We are green here on the hourly, okay? Flip it to the day, though. We're red on the day. Got a little bit of redness going on here. This is all coming off of that 6:30 report that came out this morning across a lot of stuff we're going to be looking at in just a second here. Dropping down, taking a look, guys. Bitcoin sitting under $60,000. It's at $59,347. It's down 2% on the day. Just now getting about a 0.8%, a little bit less than 1% rally on the hourly there. Ethereum actually doing a little bit better than Bitcoin. And yesterday, I know that I think it was Eric Wallen, I think, was screaming out like, Bitcoin's outperforming, or Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. And I saw them in the chat. I forgot to comment back. So looking here though, Ethereum up 0.3% on the hourly, down about 1.8% on the daily here. Big movers though, guys. Let's go down here and look for Aave, because I think that, Litecoin, first of all, is up 2.6% on the daily. And then I think Aave is what it was that OC said he had something to bring up on it. There it is. Yeah, 4.3% on the daily. He's like, I hear him in the background. He's like, yes, it is. It was that one. But yeah, 4.3% Aave on the daily there, not getting much on the hourly though. Let's jump over here, check out these liquidations, guys. In the past 24 hours, 40,800 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations came in at $142.08 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on OKX. It was for Ethereum, $2.85 million. You guys can see a lot of longs got liquidated there on that 24-hour. If they were watching us yesterday, they would have known that we had called for some lower support levels. We actually went a little bit below those levels that we looked at yesterday on my chart, but FD looks like he nailed that thing according to what he had on his chart. We'll be looking at that in just a second. Jump over to this economic data and let's break this down, guys, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about in here. Retail sales, first of all, came out this morning. This is retail sales, just what it says, right? It's the amount of buying and consumerism going on in America from corporations. They actually expected that it was going to be up a little bit, 0.3%, forecasted to be 0.2%. Came in a full 1% up. Let's go jump in just to see what it's got here. Retail sales in the U.S. soared 1% month over month in July, following a downwardly revised 0.2% drop in June. See there? Do you see those back numbers, guys? Good numbers last month. Come in, they revise it down, put that little report on the back table back there, don't say anything to the class, and they just walk away, and you think, oh, well, look, we did really good, but last month's numbers, you not realizing that it's changed. They changed. They came back in and changed the numbers without making this big report that you guys get, right? So today they come out and they go, here's our numbers. They look good, but they will not come out and do it that loud and that rambunctiously, if you will, when it's data that they have to revise. And I'm seeing a lot of this. This is why I said recession canceled, maybe. There's a lot of manipulation in these numbers, and I've got actually a jobs number a tally that I'm going to show you guys here in just a minute. So we'll talk more about that. But yeah, U.S. retail sales, guys, up 1% month over month, according to the most recent data, even with the revised. Sales were also up at grocery stores, appliance stores, electronics, parts dealers for motor vehicles, so vehicle repairs. And I think I just showed you guys yesterday that there was one of the biggest things that had inflation on it was automotive repair and maintenance. So there you go. Non-store retailers were up 0.2%, gas stations. In contrast, sales declined at miscellaneous stores, sporting goods down. Well, that kind of makes sense. We're heading out of summer. We're going back to school. That's when a lot of the summer sports things kind of slow down, right? So that makes sense. Musical instruments and books, that actually doesn't make sense because we just talked about back to school. Clothing and footwear also down. So let's jump into these export prices, guys. Export prices month over month came in at 0.7% on the actual. Previously was down 0.3%. Is this a revised number? I bet it is. Let's go and look. Month over month, increasing from an upwardly revised 0.3% decline in the previous month. So there you go. Another revised number on the back table there. Not as good as what they said it was. Initial jobless claims. This one's the one where I think that we are going to get into this whole idea of labor force looks strong, aka equals no recession. So looking at this, guys, on the initial jobless claims, 227,000 actual jobs previously. Remember, these are how many people filed for unemployment this week. Okay, these are weekly. So since last week, 234,000 last week actually came in at 227,000 this week, was projected to be on forecast 239K, on consensus 235K. Much lower than what they had forecasted, but I'm going to bet we jump in here and it's a revised number from last week also. Market expectations, second consecutive weekly decline since reaching a one-year high. It was the fewest amount of new claims filed in 5 weeks, challenging recent data that reflected a market slowdown in the labor market for the U.S., adding some leeway for the Federal Reserve to not loosen monetary policy. I am not seeing where they revised these numbers, but I do want to jump over here. We'll talk about this because you know, the Kabisi letter, he's got a great one where they talk about that. Let's bring this in here and we will talk about these revised numbers and then we'll come and talk about it with FDY and OC. So what is happening here? U.S. job numbers have been revised lower by 700. Keep track of these numbers, guys. 778,000 jobs since February of 2022, according to BlackRock. Okay. This year alone, non-farm payrolls were revised down from 279,000 jobs from January to June. So just this year, non-farm, these are not seasonal jobs, 279. So over 250,000 jobs from January to June. That's how many they overshot by on the numbers versus what there really was. So they had to revise it down, 279,000. Furthermore, the U.S. economy lost 192,000 jobs in quarter 3 of 2023 and then added 344,000 jobs in quarter 4. According to the BED survey released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's the BLS. On the other hand, non-farm payroll data showed that the U.S. labor market added 663,000 and 577,000. So 663,000 jobs for quarter 3, 577,000 jobs for quarter 4, 2023. That's a jaw-dropping 1 million, over 1 million jobs in the count. That's a difference of 1 million jobs in the count over just 2 quarters. The labor market is weaker than the headlines make it seem. So there you go. Let's jump over here. Let's talk about this because we're getting these data. We're getting this data, and this data is pumping the markets today. The Dixie's looking strong versus all of the other currencies out there. They're weakening versus the U.S. dollar, and we're getting this rally. And a lot of people are like, they may not even have to cut rates now because the labor force is showing strength again, and let this inflation keep coming down. Blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, when you take a look at over 2 quarters, they have miscounted jobs by 1 million jobs. You have to go, is this gross incompetency or is this just we have a bad system for metrics and data collection? I don't know, but it doesn't ring very well for me on being able to go, this data equals this, and this is what we can project. FD White, your thoughts on this? Go.
I mean, these are supposed to be some of the smartest people in the world, collecting this data and analyzing this data. So I can't let it fall on incompetence. I'm gonna have to lean towards a little bit more of manipulation at this point. So we're in election year. We're almost close to the election. They don't want these numbers coming in bad. They don't want these job numbers coming in super bad because the job number is one of the leading factors of a presidential candidate, getting those votes or garnering those votes. So I think, I'm not sure how they're manipulating it, but I'm sure it's some form of manipulation in there somewhere because these numbers just do not add up.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're a big country. We're a big country, and when you think about the layers of data that they had to collect this and run it up, you know what I mean? I'm sure that it is a very time-consuming collection of data and aggregating and analyzing to get that true number. And so obviously you're going to have some errors of mistakes, but in a 6-month period to be off by 1 million jobs, it's just, it sus, bro. Sus, bro. That's what I'm, as my son would say, that is sus, no cap. OC, OC, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. You've been in a country that's been manipulating data to its people for corruption for many years down here in Mexico. So you know this well. Your dad's actually in politics. You've seen this firsthand down there, what can happen. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this just bad collection of data, or do you think there's something nefarious going on with these job numbers? Are they really just trying to like put up the best face, and then slide the truth onto the back table like we talk about all the time? Or is this really just incompetency at a governance level because it's such a big thing to challenge. What's your thoughts on it?
Absolutely. First of all, I think something shining out here is just that tinfoil hat. I'm resistant to grab it. But here's the thing. There is a real phenomenon that happens when we start going from an actual democracy, which I still believe that the United States does have, to something like a forced democracy or even a dictatorship, right? Which is the talent. Usually the very mandatory or the very strict, let's call them strict democracies, they usually look or search for people that have more, let's just say, trust into the regime than ability. So what happens with the talented people? They flew out, they go into the private sectors, and what happens to the not that bright people, but they're which are willing to bend their rules and their own standards? They go inside the regime, and that's when we start seeing real income. That that is just my killing word. Last time also I couldn't pronounce that. But all right. The thing is, we need to understand that at this point, the United States, it is the referee of the world, right? And we also have the BRICS, on the other hand, also pushing in different flanks right now with economical war, technical warfare, and also economical warfare, right? So we have many flanks. That means that the United States needs to operate and keep operating without a president, which means they need to have real talented people in different parts of the head. It's just like the Hydra, right? The president is just one of the many heads that the Hydra will have to keep operating and keep defending. Let's just call it the blue part of the world, right? The thing is in here that yesterday I was mentioning the manipulation of the data, but with maybe not a nefarious way, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, but into yesterday I mentioned a soft landing event on a crisis, right? And I think this is preventing that snowball effect. So I'm ruling out that those guys are incompetent. I'm ruling out a little bit. I'm trying to rule out. I really want to rule out the nefarious part of it, and I'm aiming a little bit more into managing the risk and acting not so ethically, but still. Let's just go against the masses, because the masses are their worst enemy. And I have a question for the alumni in here, and also for UFDY and Army Piper, because I always picture this in my head. If I would, and think these guys the same with you, if you were to get the president of the United States, if you get to be the president of the United States, whether you like it politics or not, and a crisis come, and your assessment says, you know what, if you go out there and tell the public the real stuff, absolutely, I will be running with you, Piper. So you tell the public the real stuff, they're gonna push United States to the bankruptcy, right? Or if you lie to the public, right, you might help them better. What would you do?
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. You can go ahead first, FD, because I've actually worked in the world of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
go
know
first.
what I like it too, man. Like when we were growing up, my mom would come like, we're about to get company. We'll just take everything and just start stuffing it under the bed, stuffing everything under the bed, in the closets and everything. And then when the people come over, they're like, oh, your house is so clean. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks, man. But not knowing we got all this stuff under the bed, all this stuff in the closet, So really, we're just putting on this air, for the people who come over, the people who's seeing, when they actually see the information or see the data. So like OC was saying, that is a perfect point. He don't want, the powers that be don't want an all out freak out of the country. Like if the real data, the real information coming out, and they're just giving all the real sauce, so to say, people start freaking out. People really start, to stop spending, and we'll really start going into a recession. Some of these things can be deterred a little bit longer by sentiment. So I definitely agree with OC.
Yeah, I think one thing that you got to keep in mind is gatekeeping It happens. It's in the federal government level, at the state government level. There's gatekeeping. It exists. The reason is because most citizens, most people are irrational, and they react before they process. They react before they get all the data. We see that all the time. This incident happened with this cop and this individual. Immediately protest, down with the cop, shut down the police station. And then more data comes out. We see this all the time with this individual had this picture taken, and we speculate that it's this, right? And then all of a sudden, well, okay, that was actually his niece. It was not an underage girl. Like things like this play out all the time. And so we are a very reactionary species, especially when we have the speed of the internet and the education system combined that America offers. So when you look at it from that perspective, do we need a little bit of gatekeeping? I think we do. It does keep people from panicking, and it does keep things in line until you can get, a controlled distribution of information. I will say this. At least they don't hide these true numbers from us. They just don't announce them, and they put them on the back table, right? Yeah. So if you have the capacity to process, analyze, and know to go look for this data so that you have truly informed decision-making data, it's there for you to go do. For everyone else that doesn't have that capacity, desire, drive, will, or need to, that because they're just floating down the river instead of guiding and making their own future in finances, then yes, I think it probably is set up. But I just don't like that we have a million jobs on data that come out, capture that data truly, and then compose the narrative of putting that out to the public. Yes, this is the info, this is the data, but we are working diligently to get these numbers up. This is our plan, this is our policy, and what that would require politicians to do would actually be good at their job. And that's therein lies the problem, right? So, because they can't just come out and go, this is our plan and this is our policy, and we're going to operate on this policy going forward to fix this number that we just gave you. And once they do that, until they do that, this is probably the best way of how they're doing it. But OC and FD, final thoughts, and then we're going to jump into another article here, and then we're going to go look at Bitcoin, because somebody asked here about data that was stolen. You guys probably heard about this. We've all been compromised. We're going to talk about that. But after you got anything on that closeout of those economic numbers?
Yeah, good points. Both you guys gave good points, and a lot of people just see the headline numbers and don't go back, and look at what's going on behind them in the past. Just forward. So we got to look back at these revisions to get the real data. So hopefully people do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Something I want to wrap things up. It is something that my dad always told me, and that's why I never liked politics. I like to be straightforward, which is politics. It is the art of eating shit without making faces. So, yeah.
I never heard that.
That sounds like some Mermite meals that I've had in the Army out in the field. Let's jump over and take a look at this news, guys, and then we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart and get into the T8 today, because we got a lot of data today, But someone that specifically asked about this, so we're going to talk about it. This is breaking news that came out yesterday, guys, and this happened a while ago, so it's nothing that you can do about it now. Every American social security number may have been stolen in a new major hack with over 2.7 billion records allegedly compromised from the national public data. The stolen information includes social security numbers, physical addresses, so on and so forth. So let's jump over here, talk about this real fast, because I've actually got security clearance with the federal government, and the entity that controls all security clearances for the OPM, for the Office of Personnel Management for the federal government, they were hacked several years ago. So all like when they do background checks for security clearance, it's everything. So all of my data has been out there for a while now, for years. So now the rest of the country gets to enjoy what we've been dealing with. I will tell you, nothing big has come from any of this. If you're diligent about your information, you're diligent about not clicking links, you're diligent about understanding when somebody calls and says, "Hi, this is William from Coinbase," and he sounds strangely like he's not anywhere in the United States or Mexico, then, if you're diligent on those fronts, then you probably don't have a lot to worry about. But it is a reminder every day that if you guys are in crypto or if you guys are not in crypto, it doesn't matter. Someone out there wants to not work for a living to take your money, and you need to be diligent. Your thoughts or any tips you have, FD, about this info with all of your stuff being out there? Like, I know right off the top, keep an eye on your credit report. Look for data like that. But what else would you have for these people before we get into Bitcoin?
Being in crypto, we're kind of always we're kind of conditioned to be a little bit more safer anyway. So I think everybody in crypto is a little bit more
Yeah,
savvy
we
when it
built
comes to
different.
that. We built different. We built a lot different. Yeah. So for the regular normies out there who just willy nillying along, you've been on Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff. Your information is out there. Maybe not your social security number per se, but all your information is on there. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg has been on trial and in front of Congress about information being leaked and all this other stuff. Like, our information is already out there. So I don't think it's a too big of a deal. So I'm really not putting too much into it, but it's definitely something that make you, scratch your head. Like, what's really going on? What are the safety measures that they're taking to, get our information or keep our information safe? So I'm just looking at this like, they need to do a little bit better job.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. First, shout out to Joseph Richardson. He said National Public Data was the company. That's the name of the actual company. So appreciate that. And then Eric Wallen said, we are diligent in the crypto space unless you're crypto lifer. If you don't know, Eric Wallen has been burning up Twitter on X due to Lifer's wife's account getting locked and frozen by Binance.us. And Eric Wallen was like, why is anybody in this space still using Binance.us? So, Eric Wallen, we love you, man. We love you. You pick fights with everybody in the schoolyard, and it's entertaining to watch you, man. Let's go ahead. Let's look at the Dixie Bitcoin, guys. Go ahead and start pulling some stuff up. And then we're going to talk about something called the power law. Guys, if you don't know, we had this discussion yesterday in our community, in our AMA, and people were talking about that. And basically what it is it's the Bitcoin power law, and it is a good little progression. Cryptos R Us has a great little chart that he shared, and we're going to take a look at that after we look at Bitcoin. So let's jump into that chart. Guys, looking first here at Dixie, I do want to talk about that first because we did get that pump this morning on the economic data, strengthening up the U.S. dollar. We pretty much came up to about 103.22 and it started to pull back there. But it is still one of those days where we get rallies on the markets with the Dixie all going in the same direction. So interesting. I just want to point that out there. Remember, the Dixie, this is not necessarily the U.S. dollar strength. This is the U.S. dollar versus the basket of other currencies. So if you got to keep that in mind when you see the Dixie pump, it doesn't mean that the Dixie is getting stronger. The US dollar is getting stronger. It means that other currencies may not be as strong at that moment as the US dollar. So that economic data coming out this morning, definitely getting that. I also want to show you, because I've talked about when the Dixie is the mover to the downside, a lot of money moves into those treasury bonds because that is where people like to go for security and safety. The bonds now up 3.41%. Remember, if bonds go down, that means that people are buying them because they don't need to entice them with higher interest numbers. If the bonds are going up, that means that people are selling them because they don't need to get into as much security. They believe that the markets are going to provide them a better return over that period of time. And now they're just starting to come back up on that. So now, where is it money going to? Well, it looks like it's running back into risk assets. Here we do have gold is sitting here getting a pullback back down to its support at 24.38. But the Bitcoin, guys, the bitty boy, back up into this resistance that we said we had here, or support yesterday, actually. We fell down below it, and that is where we are right now on that golden pocket, that 0.66 there, coming in at $59,067, and we are starting to push back above it. You guys see this orange line coming in right here? That is the 200-day exponential moving average. That combined with this level of the of this support range, I am watching for us to come back up to this previous range that we've been hitting up here, about $61,500. Look at this on the daily, and you will see something interesting here. This has been the levels that I've been talking about for a hot second. We've got the we got the quantum reactor and the dynamic reactor all playing in with the 100-day and the 50-day EMAs, all in this range right here, guys. I do think that we're going to pump back up into there, and we are going to continue on in this range right here. I am sure that when I kick this over to FD White and to OC, they probably have some more long-term, but that is what I am watching in the immediate term as the support ranges that we are getting on this data this morning, back to that key resistance area that we have pointed out to you guys all week long. FD, we're going to kick it over to you first, take a look and see what you got, and then OC will come around to you and see what you got on your charts. We're going to talk about Bitcoin for a second, and then guys, let us know what altcoins you would like to see in the chat so we can get into those. Any stocks in any the altcoins you guys want to see, we're going to try to get to today. So drop those in the chat. Let's go over here to FD White's screen.
Cool. So if you watched or tuned in to Crypto Nightcap yesterday, I laid out the play. I gave you a few lines, and I just basically laid out the play. I said Bitcoin right now was in this falling channel right here. Be expecting a bounce somewhere off this trend line that I had drawn at about, it was like 57.8, and we got a perfect kiss. Love this candle right here. I guess it's sort of like a hammer candle. As soon as I see one of those, and then another green, I'm going long. So I'm actually in a long position. We took out this previous resistance at about 58,600, and just like you said, I'm targeting our previous day highs somewhere around 61,656 if we can remain, but capture that overall huge range back at about between that 59.5 to 70k range. Let's actually go to my other chart where I have my more macro analysis. Yep, here we go. So the first, like I said, the first range that I'm looking at to capture is this 59.8 to 60,266 level. Then we'll come back up here to test this resistance at the previous daily high, and then like I said, we'll be back into our micro or our macro range. We got this double bottom here basically yesterday or Monday, and then we got it again coming up Thursday, which was Wednesday yesterday. So anytime I see double bottoms on like higher term time frames, 4-hour charts or daily charts time frames, that's a good indication for me to look for longs. We did have our RSI starting to come up on the 4-hour. We got a green dot coming in, so those green dots on the 4 hours definitely look good. And I definitely want to start implementing a lot more chart prime because you guys have been nailing it with chart prime. So I know a lot of the things that you guys have been talking about with chart prime have come into confluence with mine. So the levels that I'm looking at right now is just to reclaim that 59.5 to 60k area, and then we'll be back in our range. So short-term moves right there is what I'm looking for.
Awesome. OC, what are you seeing on Bitcoin? And then I also see some of our names dropping down in there. So, yeah, we'll get to those. I saw Matic. OC, what do you got for Bitcoin, brother?
Actually, before I go into analysis, a little service to the community, guys. If you think that your email or something has been compromised, you can use this webpage that I'm pushing to you guys right here. This is not a sponsor or anything. It's just a great tool. I'm going to be using one of my old emails that I don't use anymore. That's a long gone company. Basically, you just click there and look for where have you been pound, And if you haven't, there basically there you go. Or if you have, you can take a look at where have you, and also the date where your data was leaked. Just a little bit on that, just to keep you guys secure. Remember to always always change or update your passwords, right? So at Bitcoin, I'm already into a trade.
Oh, see, can you drop that link in the chat before the end of the show so that you already did. I see it right there. Never mind. Disregard. I'll get you back to Bitcoin. Guys, here's Bitcoin.
Absolutely. So basically, just looking at Bitcoin yesterday, right here, I was calling this area because we had not only two support lines, we also have a liquidity area right here. I did set an alert on Bitcoin. We can see it right here that was active, and also this one was triggered. Basically, went in right at these areas. As you can see, I did not went right at the bottom, but at the candle close, and then I was just slightly slower, and then I enter right here in this candle. I just mark it sideways so it doesn't interfere with the analysis. I will be, because we are hitting this trend line that I have here, I will be moving my stop to entry, but I will not be taking early profits just yet. I want to wait for this trend line to either break down to the downside, which I don't think is going to happen, but most likely we're going to go back to this loud order block. Basically, this is looking like a Wyckoff distribution area. So this is looking very great, very good for a little range that we could be having for a couple of weeks in here. And I am expecting to have a good surprise on the upcoming month, maybe not long-lasting pump, but at least a break to the upside into the upcoming month. Just so you know, guys, this is just my speculation, pure and clean speculation, that this upcoming month is going to be bullish because data hasn't shown it just yet. All right. So basically, that's what I got on Bitcoin. And also, I got an answer for you on who would be maybe using Binance US. Well, remember that Binance US, it's poorly made, and they might have liquidity issues, right? So here's the thing, and I've been trying to do this for a long time. I was able to do it once, but then I got kicked out of Binance US. You might guess why, but here's the thing: you just put your entries on spot on Bitcoin on very crazy, unimaginable areas. And then when everybody wants to manipulate, you are buying extremely low. Remember last time we had an 8,000 Bitcoin, right? For a flash crash, and many people was able to grab it all the way down there on Binance US. Just a little bit of an idea, not financial advice, but that could be a usage of it.
Yep, I agree. There is some people out there that still use it, but their liquidity issues make me go, like a year ago, we were saying I would not use Binance.us. I'd get out of it. And to see people still using it in the space is shocking, in my opinion. So, Eric Wallen, I don't disagree with you, bro. Let's talk about real fast before we move into the altcoins. Let's talk about the Bitcoin power law cycle. If you don't know what that is, the Bitcoin power law cycle is basically this role of distribution of and network effects, stuff like that. Growth. It's the growth of where a lot of people have all of the Bitcoin, and then it starts to distribute out to the down in the income levels, right? So the big money people have all the Bitcoin at start, and then it just trickles down, and that network effect of growth has a scale that goes, horizontal and then logarithmic on a linear logarithmic scale. But I've got a little chart to show you guys here, and this was from Cryptos R Us shared this. So let's jump over here. He said, why would you panic sell your Bitcoin at $49,000 when the Bitcoin power law shows Bitcoin reaching $200,000 by 2025? So let's go ahead and let's bring this up here, and let's just show this. We'll pause it as we go into it because I want you guys to see how this works. So let me get this, pull this back. Sir, can you work for me? Thank you. There we go. Perfect. Now let's get in here and we'll show you guys. So this is the power law of Bitcoin. Okay. You got the Bitcoin halving cycles, which is the blue here. You've got the peak decay where it gets lower and lower and lower over time. And then the Bitcoin price is the red here. And so let's just start into this and you'll see how this looks when it's coming in. First off, you can see it went off of that linear, off that logarithmic to the sideways, and you can see the power, the exponential decay of how much it pumps in percentage every halving cycle. But when they revert this back to the logarithmic scale, you'll see how this decay and then the effect of adoption points it into a price logarithmic line. And if you take a look at that, there you go. It's now put back up here. We've got the nice logarithmic with that exponential decay, but it's still on a rising level of network adoption, right? When we take a look at this, you'll see where they get this $200,000 price average from, each cycle coming in, matching up over and over and over again. They bring this down. There is your 4-year cycles put together, and then with the 4-year cycles overlaid with each other, you can get this median, and that median is going to put it, here it comes, it's going to put it at that $200,000 line over time, based off of the growth rate. So the power law, guys, this has been talked about a lot, and someone asked about it yesterday, so I just wanted to show them what exactly this looked like from the perspective of a chart showing the network adoption rate with the exponential decay put into that logarithmic scale, basing the average mean or median off of it's the average. That's what that means. The mean, the average of the 4-year cycles overlapped with each other, puts Bitcoin at $200,000 by 2025. And this is based on an exact adoption model going off of each of the 4-year cycles previous. Now, obviously, we don't put all of our eggs in one basket for a $200,000 Bitcoin. But for yesterday, when people were asking about that, I said I would explain it today on the show. I just wanted to show you guys good layout of it, explain where that number comes from and how the power law plays out. FDY, do you have any thoughts on the power law cycle for Bitcoin? I know it's been around for a minute, but not everybody has seen it and not everyone understands it. So.
Yeah, I seen it. I didn't really dive deep into it, but I definitely saw it. I think, yeah, like you said, George brought it up, and I think another influencer brought it up a while back. And I was just I couldn't really grasp it at the time. I have to do a little bit more deep diving, a little bit more analysis before I can really explain it without looking at the chart. But it makes sense. You know, even when you look back at previous cycles and even with the diminishing returns and whatnot, it still seems like it aligns with the path, you know, up and to the right where Bitcoin should eventually go. So, you know, I'm definitely like, why are you selling? You know what I mean? Bitcoin has showed you time and time again that if you zoom out, it's just going to keep going up. Like these short-term volatile moments and these short-term volatile moves, man, in the grand scheme of things are just specks when you look back at them. And, you know, Bitcoin has never lied to us. It's always been true, and it's always shown us what it's going to do. So it's going to do the same thing. It just may, you know, in the short to medium term, it might just be a little bit volatility. But, you know,
I don't even have to worry about it lying to me. It's trustless. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to. We talked about that exponential growth and how it's the distribution, right, of money out of the big holders. Before we get into the altcoins here, right after this, I want to jump over here and show you guys this. This is the top 11 Bitcoin holders in the world right now. Number 1, Satoshi Nakamoto. Number 2, Binance Exchange, not Binance.us. I want to clarify that. Number 3, BlackRock now owns the 3rd largest amount of Bitcoin in the world. Grayscale at 263,000 of them there. MicroStrategies is number 5. Bitfinex Exchange, number 6. U.S. government, number 7. Number 8 is the Chinese government. And then Fidelity, Block 1, and number 11, guys, is Robinhood. So there's your biggest holders of Bitcoin, and it is that wealth distribution that we want to get a hold of as retail. We want to take that from them because believe they want it from you. And there's going to be a time where people are fighting over who can get that last Bitcoin. Will it be in your family? That's the question. That's why we do this right here. We hodl, right? Hodl like it's hot, as Keeper would say. FD, what do you got? Let's go ahead and jump over to you. We'll start looking at these altcoins. I'll take a look at the list. And if we have to run a little bit longer today, we can. If you've got time, we're going to try to get through these charts. So let's jump over to FD White and let's take a look at what he's got on the chart.
So I seen somebody talking about Ondo in the chart. So Ondo is one of my favorites, man. You know, BlackRock is behind it. That's just on the fundamental side. So I know it's going to go up. Like, it's really just that simple, unless, you know, some black swan event happens for the project. But Ondo right now, what I'm looking at, you know, I try to keep my analysis simple when I'm explaining it. So we've been in this downtrend. I'm on the 4-hour chart right now. We've been on this downtrend. We rose up, popped up to about 82 cents. We've been making lower highs. So what I'm looking at right now in the immediate short term for my next trade, this is my next trade, I'm giving it to you live and direct here, is for us to break this downward sloping trend line, pop up, and as you guys like to say, the OC retest back up to this move, or back up to this spot here at about 85 cents. And if we zoom out on the daily, Ondo, anything that's been under 85 cents has been, or to me, is a buy zone. I've had this buy zone area drawn out since like maybe early July. So we had a nice dip down, and we had a gift down here. Like, anything under, like, if you got in down here in Ondo, let me know in the chat. But this, because that was just a gift. But like I say, anything under this major area at about 85 cents is a gift to me. So I'll be looking at to reclaim this 85 cent mark and then make our way back up. Then our next area will be that psychological dollar. Once we get above $1, then I think we, you know, sky's the limit. Our all-time high on this is 148. So I think we're going to smash through that, you know, once the market gets to moving again. But right now, Ondo is a good spot to trade and a good spot to accumulate in my non-financial advice, you know, thesis.
Awesome. OC, what you got for us, brother? Oh, hold on. We got a super chat from Lewis B. He said MAGA, he wants the MAGA token, the meme coin, on the daily. We will take a look at that right after this, Lewis B. Go ahead, OC.
Absolutely. So talking about who's holding more Bitcoin, guess who's going to get a hold of a bunch more Bitcoin. So crypto exchange Binance has registered with the Indian Financial Intelligence Unit and complied with the AML standards in the country. So guess who get access to that huge market there, who is just rubbing their hands and maybe going up the scale of having more Bitcoin. That is Binance. All right, so take a look at Binance. Remember, buy the rumor, share the news. At this point, we might be a little bit late on the rumor. We already have seen that V-shaped recovery, but I don't think that we're too late not to start looking at BNB. We still market dumps in here, so we need to be a little bit careful. Also, we are right here within a loud order block and a dynamic reactor. I need to see a big chunk breaking, then retesting, and off we go. I have a little bit of a trend line coming in here, and that is because of a daily dynamic reactor. Let's see if that still is the case. Yes, it is. As you can see, well, I was predicting to move a little bit more aggressive to the upside. Nonetheless, as you can see, it is also aiming to break the trend line. Maybe I can push it like that. Break the trend line, impact on the money flow, going to reverse for a retest, and off we go as a target 500 or 600, somewhere around those areas. So just keeping your radar. BNB is not a coin that I really like to trade, neither hold, but I do both of them because I've been seeing a couple of opportunities, and I do trade whatever can make me money. And it is not just pure, I don't know how to call it, S coin, right? But other than that,
crap coin,
guys. Exactly.
Crap coin. All right, let's jump over here, guys. I want to take a look at MAGA real fast, and I'm going to be taking a look at Matic here. We had a request for that. Let me go find MAGA coin. Let's see what's exchange probably has a good history on it. Let's check MEXC. They're usually pretty good, especially if you're wanting it on the daily. So, maybe let me try another one here. I want to make sure that I got good data history on it. Which, if you guys can let me know in the chat if you are Lewis B, if what exchange has the longest history on it, that would help immensely. We'll look here. See how this looks. Nope, we're going to go with MEXC, it looks like. So looking at this on the daily, let's go ahead And man, this coin has been volatile as hell. Let's go ahead and jump in here to get a little low to high off of this and just to see what we can pull on the fibs. We are in the platinum pocket right now. My concern is, though, if we take a look at this on the 4-hour, I am seeing a little consolidation here and a little bit of flagging going on. So be careful with this. Oh, let me get that right. There we go. And then I'll pull this over and look at it on another thing too, another type of chart. So pull that in here and bring this in. Yeah, you can see we're flagging here. This is typically bearish. This means downside continuation typically. But we have seen where this has had that before and then breaks out to the upside. If you're looking to get in this platinum pocket, this is just a degen play, this platinum pocket here is probably a decent area to grab some up. Just know that it is a very volatile token and this thing can really crap out on you. So looking at the oscillator on it right now, it does show that money flow is green on it. So we are looking at some green money flow here. We are getting a true 7 pumping up still. That is this line where it's coming up and flat. I'd really like to see this get bolded out and get that bright green going on there, kind of like the bright red here that you see on that. Back here we had a bright green also. That typically means that it is getting towards a top range. So right now, I would like to see this get a little bit of a green because you could be setting up for a lower level right now. But right now, with it just being in this median that it's in, even with the money flow, this could easily break out of this to the downside. So be very careful on MAGA, man. It is a meme coin. So Samuel Bacaley said trade Lunc. Luna Classic is a very volatile token. So if you're looking for something with volatility, it is absolutely a trade token, not a hodl. Let's jump over to Matic and take a look at that. That was the MAGA request there from Lewis B. We appreciate your super chat, brother. Let's get into Matic and take a look at that and see how that's looking. I do want to point out some things on Matic. Quite sad and interesting. If I could find the token in here. Matic, where are you? Right there it is. Taking a look at Matic here, I want to show you guys a couple of things here. Let's isolate this off and go back to the daily. And this is a fib that is pulled from the low back here in June of 2022, okay? That low was pulled right there to the high that was pulled here on February of 2023. So that low to high is what created these fib levels, right? If we go and we take another look at this, though, and we're going to go a little bit further back, and we're going to go from back here when it was first listed on Coinbase, the bottom back in March of 2021, and we go to the all-time high on this, which happened back here in December of 2021, and we throw on fibs on that. It is pretty much the same fibs as what we're looking at right now, guys. And so that is problematic for me because it means that we've got a key level sitting right here at about 29 cents that is right below us, that if we go down to that level, I would say that you are either in the most awesome buy opportunity ever for Matic, or this token is completely screwed, and I would abandon ship on this thing because really, guys, this is the low of its low. Matter of fact, if we jump over here and we look at the all-time high on CoinGo Live, Polygon Matic is almost 600% off from its all-time high right now. It's actually closer to its all-time low than any other token in the market damn near. So I just wanted to bring that up and show that. But that's what I'm seeing on Matic. It is looking very weak. Let's go over and look at this from a perspective of the heat map here using the RSI primed. And let's go see how Matic looks on here just to see if we can find any levels of interest. We do have I have the Bollinger Bands down here picking up an area. You can see the last time we broke that, it fell way deep into the blue here. I would be watching for this to come back down to this level again, which would be right back down there at 35 cents. Looking at this on the 4-hour, if we put this on the daily, it's going to be a key level back here of support. So let's go ahead and lock on that. I want to put that on here, this little support line, and then let's lock that into that bottom there Can I get the magnet? Thank you. Appreciate that. We're going to lock that on there, and then we are going to put that an alert on that. So just get that going there. You're going to hit it. Oh, cancel. Right click on it. And then you're going to add an alert on that horizontal line. We'll get an alert when it goes down to there, and we'll see if we are in some of those blue levels on the RSI primed. Might be an area for a nice quick bounce on the trade. But looking at this overall right now, guys, Matic is looking very, very weak. We have a continuation. If we look over here, throw on the moving averages. We have this continuation line of everything is in reverse order. So you see the green, this is your 50-day exponential moving average. Can I drop? Thank you. 50-day, 100-day, 200-day, 300-day. We are in the complete inverse on what should be going on here. The 50 is supposed to be on top of this, the 100 underneath, the 200 underneath that, the 300 underneath that. We're completely opposite of where we should be at on all of these. And it does look like downside. Again, that 1-to-1 line, guys, coming in right there at about 29 cents. So that's what I got there on Matic. Let's go ahead and jump over to FD White, see what you got there. Unless you guys got anything, any thoughts on Matic FD?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
man.
sad.
You know what? I got in Matic really, really low, man. Shout out to Token Metrics, man. Ian Bellina got me in under 10 cent. And I've been holding ever since like early or late 2020, early 2021. And it's just been underperforming ever since the, last bull market. And I think more, layer twos have come. More of the market share has gone to these different new hotter coins, But, once the market gets to pumping, if you're new to crypto, if you're new to a bull run, once the bull run really, really, really ramps up, I mean, these things can fly. Like, it just looks like complete despair. But then they'll just fly out of nowhere. So Matic has stood the test of times. If you're in Matic, I see a couple people are in Matic. I think Retro Mike Tech said he was in Matic. I think, hold the fort. It's not a dead project. I just think it's just going to take a little bit of time to, I'm not sure it's going to go back to all-time highs, but I think it'll still do well. I think the whole overall market, will do well once we really, really, really get to pumping. Just hold the fort. Patience. Crypto is all about patience. Just be patient.
It is about patience, that's for sure. And if there's something that's going to be a long shot, Hail Mary moneymaker, Matic is definitely poised and set up for that right now. I just think that there's some really, really good layer twos that have come out since last cycle that have really just taken the steam out of the engine that was Matic. So let's jump over to your chart, see what you got on there. Let's get through one more each. So FDOC has something going, and then we'll come back and wrap it up and send these people out of class for the day. FD, over to you.
So this is Trump. This is like the premier coin that a lot of influencers, a lot of people have been talking about. I'm not sure if this one is the one he was speaking of, but I mean, we got to an all-time high. I mean, this one ran up to about almost $18. So right now, I mean, we've just been really down only. So what I'm looking at right now for this Trump coin is at about $3.05. We got to break out of this downward sloping trend line, and we also have this horizontal right here. Usually when I see these, I know this is going to be a really, really tough resistance. But it's really three areas that we need to look at. We need to break this downward sloping trend line, this horizontal. We see all this play back, back here. Once we break out of that, we'll be back into this range from about $4 to about $6. Then once we break that, I think we're off to the races. And this is one of the coins that I think is going to really, really, really heat up once the election season really, really ramps up, maybe like October, November. So keep your eye on these top political coins, these top politified coins. I'm not sure what you call them, because I think these are going to ignite the bull run, because it's going to get really, really hectic. It's going to get really, really exciting once the election starts really, really ramping up. So keep your eye on this one. I think this one can really, really, really run.
Really.
I had some more really, but we only got a couple more minutes left.
All right, OC, what you got for us, brother?
Absolutely. I'm going to do a double hitting here because Crypto Pollo directly requested me to look at, what was it? Comp. But I already had it in my line. course, scientific, because we are also trying to show you guys a little bit of traditional markets. A little bit back before, we were looking at the 5-minute charts and basically setting up a beautiful entry right there. It played out very, very nicely. At this point, I'm only showing this because of this kind of pump and dump base, back to base, and then rolling it up, because we kind of like having the same thing I'm feeling here. We have a V-shape recovering pump and then a back to base making a higher low in here. We are bearish, guys. We are still bearish, very bearish, but just so you guys know, this is the first thing that we're looking for. It is a higher low in here, just to look for continuation. The next thing that I want to see is a clean and clear breakout of these areas in here, going to smash the price somewhere around here and then retracing. This is going to be my opportunity, and then off we go. If you are feeling extra dangerous in here and you want to jump in here in this trade, I would be, not financial advice, but suggesting that you look for some support around this trend line. And for that, it is very interesting to start adding our indicators in here and start looking for support areas. So we are right now on one of those, and also bringing up my oscillator, and something that I want to get both synchronized. It is the breakthrough the zero line of the oscillator. Once we start breaking through, most likely we're also going to be pushing through the dynamic reactor, and that could be your entry point. Again, not financial advice, and look for more confirmation. I usually look for 2 or 3 confirmations, at least 3 confirmations before I come into an entry. And then taking comp to look at very quick by direct request. He said, Crypto Pollo, I enter at 4308. So 43, what is it? 4308. Somewhere around here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Back into the loud order block right here, going for a very nice continuation of this trend line here. I think you are nailing it. Something that I just not liking that much, but it might be playing out on your favor. It is the compression of the clouds in here, and that we are going to the zero line. I would rather wait, and I would have waited just a little bit more and maybe do a late entry. But if we see Bitcoin pushing up, I think you're going to nail it on comp, and the next possible target will be somewhere around 4740 at this area. So shout out to you, Crypto Pollo. Very nice entry, very precise, and that was amazing. That was amazing. Other than that, turning it back to you guys. Hello? You're muted.
My bad. There we go. I pulled these fibs back here on Avalanche on the daily from back here in October up to about April of this last year, March, April time period. Guys, looking at this right now, you can see a couple of things that I want to point out here that are important to know. We did lose the golden pocket here. It was a nice little area back here of resistance. We were getting all of our bounces on this value area low of this fixed range volume profile being pulled all the way back from October 2023. And you can see that right now, this volume node that we are sitting on is our resistance. We are underneath that value area low. Let me get that cleaned up there, and we'll talk about why this matters. Because we are right now on the platinum pocket, the 786, below that value area low, guys, it is very likely that if we continue down and do not get back above this value area low, we are heading down to the 887. That would be $15 there on Avalanche. And you can see that when we get down there, there's a gap that falls from right here at about 1654 all the way to that next level. So there is a gap there that we could, if we get down there, we're just going to fall, because this is just a free fall range. Okay. So keep an eye on that level, but I do have a little bit of hopium for you here. One thing is that we do look like on the daily, we are creating this little wave of money flow coming in on the money flow index. Okay. And so as you can see, this was way down here. It's coming up higher. This would be nice if this would go into green on the daily. That would indicate that money is coming in and Avalanche is ready to go upwards, right? We are also getting the green momentum line here on the oscillator ribbon. Typically when we get that, we do get upside movement. That might be enough to break us out of this pattern. if we can break out of this range that we're in to the upside, here's your hopium, guys. Let's go throw on Market Dynamics Pro. You can see up here on this line, we did get a rejection on the dynamic reactor, perfectly right there. Well, that was also on this auto printed trend line here for a this is a falling wedge that Chart Prime has automatically detected here. This is a bullish pattern. This typically will break to the upside. So as this comes down, I do think that we might get down here to this 887 at some point. Obviously, it might take some time. If the markets continue downward, I still think Bitcoin has a red August, a red September. I don't think we truly see the market return to a rally until October, November. But if that is the case and we do come down here and that is enough to get us out of this platinum pocket, off of this bottom trend line, and get us that boost up with that green money flow that we just talked about on here coming back in, that breakout pattern on here would send us right back up to at least the point of control. That would be almost a 100% move from that bottom to the top, actually a little bit higher than that, over 100% move on a return for a breakout on Avalanche. And that would be a beautiful setup that I'm going to be watching closely. So that's what I got. That's what I got today. That's the end of the show. We're a little bit over, but we had a lot of stuff to go through today, especially on the economic data side. Plus, I don't get to hang out with FD White that much, so I had to go a little bit longer and BS with him. FDOC, what do you guys got for the people? We'll start with FD. You got anything for the peeps, for the alumni? So.
Yeah, so make sure you be back on the channel 8:30 Eastern time over with my guy Tradefly, man. Shout out to Tradefly, man. He was going through a lot a couple of these past few days, and he still showed up. You have no idea what happened behind the scenes, but he showed up and he showed out, man. So put a 1 in the chat for Tradefly, man. He showed up, and we got the crypto nightcap out the way, and it was great shows. And we'll be back tonight 8:30 Eastern time.
Awesome. OC, what do you got for the people, man?
So guys, thanks so much for joining in this hard times where everything's just faking out. We have too many things going on in the planet. Click that like button, because if you do every single time that you click like on one of our videos, that is equal to one less nuke being activated. So just prevent World War III by just clicking like buttons. So go back in time and start clicking those like buttons. If you don't believe me, click them and you might see that we're going to be okay.
Cap. I don't believe it. No. All right. Guys, thanks for joining us here today on the Morning Market Report. Remember, join FT White and Tradefly right back here this evening. They're going to be doing the Crypto Nightcap. Great show for you guys. And then also, we're going to be back here tomorrow morning doing what we do right here, breaking down this morning market for you so that you guys can have all the knowledge you need, because knowledge is profit. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. Until then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss. Later.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after the wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!